We're holding now by the 3 weeks, Sheva Asar B'Tammuz. Chazal tell us 5 things happened on this day. One of the things that happened on this day was Moshe Rabbeinu destroyed the Luchos Harishonos, the Luchos that were given to him at Har Sinai. What's the connection between the Luchos that Moshe Rabbeinu broke and the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash? The last thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says in the Torah is Yasher Koyach. Good job, Moshe Rabbeinu. You broke the Luchos. The question is, why does Moshe Rabbeinu get a Yasher Koyach? Why is that a good thing? Breaking the Luchos was a tragedy. The Luchos themselves were etched out of stone from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the writing was from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The second Luchos were significantly downgraded. The writing was from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but the Luchos themselves were man-made. Why was this a good thing? Sometimes the way we see destruction is that something is broken and it's over. But that's not always the case. For example, when it comes to a seed, the destruction of the seed gives birth to the beautiful plant that will grow. And this was what actually happened when Moshe Rabbeinu broke the Luchos. When Klal Yisrael did that terrible Aveira of the Chet HaEgel, it was terrible, for sure. But from that came the understanding that Klal Yisrael is so beloved by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that ultimately we were forgiven. And yes, the Luchos now are man-made, but we also get to invest our own energy and participate in the building of Torah. And so it's uncomfortable to go through the destruction process, but it's also amazing to see the flourishing that happens after the chaos. And perhaps this is what Chazal mean when they say, B'makom shebali tshuvim oimdim, ein tzadikim gemurim oimdim. The tzaddik gomer has never gone through the process of destruction, and so therefore they don't understand the beauty and the majesty of the imperfection. And this is something that we understand deeply. The Beis HaMikdash and its destruction is a tragedy that we cannot possibly begin to fathom. What must it have been like to sit there in those days and watch hundreds of thousands of people going from one corner of the country and the other corner of the country to the center of the country to meet in the Beis HaMikdash? I imagine old friends seeing each other who hadn't seen each other perhaps since the last time it was Shalosh Regalim. I imagine that they walked into the Beis HaMikdash and they saw the majesty of the Kohanim. I imagine they saw the karbanos being brought and they had a visceral, emotional reaction to understanding that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to draw close to Him. I imagine they saw the Levium on the steps of the Beis HaMikdash singing the most beautiful Nagunim that stirred the soul in such a deep way. We cannot possibly begin to fathom what we've lost, which is part of the tragedy, of course. But even more so, we must recognize that in the wake of the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, as we've gone into this dark gullus, we have also discovered the beauty of the destruction. We have built Klal Yisrael even in the darkest of places. After the Holocaust, for example, we built a generation that is flourishing perhaps unlike any other generation. The amount of Torah being learned today, the chesed being done today, the mitzvos being done today, it's astonishing. If any generation has shown that we can find light in the darkness, it is our generation. And Baruch Hashem, even though it's been an exceptionally painful process, it's been a process where we have shown our commitment and our loyalty to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it's a painful lesson, but it's an important lesson. Moshe Rabbeinu was told, Yasher Koyach sheshibarta. It's good that you broke those luchos, because it gave Klal Yisrael the opportunity to find the light in the darkness. And so the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash is of course a terrible tragedy. But at the same time, we have infinite hope, because we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu only destroyed the Beis HaMikdash like Moshe Rabbeinu destroyed those luchos, in order that we should be able to show that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's infinite presence can be found even in the lowest of places. And when we've done that successfully, Be'ezer Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the third Beis HaMikdash, which will be more beautiful, more majestic, more godly than ever before, more importantly, everlasting. May we be Zoiche to Binyan Beis HaMikdash, B'meira B'yameinu, Amen.